everybody, Chad here. In this video, we're going to talk about the 4 takeaways from Neville Goddard's Feeling is a Secret book. And no, I'm not going to read this book to you. I'm pulling out the meat and potatoes. I'm pulling out the most important stuff from Feeling is a Secret. That way we can speed up our manifesting powers. Other than that, my friends, this is a very detailed training. So let's rock and roll and shoot over there. So it's broken down into 4 chapters. Chapter 1 is the law and its operation. Now this chapter, Neville kind of goes into the conscious and his subconscious mind. Now in this chapter, I want you to keep your mind open. I don't want you to think, well, Chad, I already know the subconscious mind. But Neville really kind of breaks it down. And in this chapter, I really want you to kind of think to yourself when we go through this, is anytime when I'm going through this material, if you have a small little voice in your head thinking, that's not true, that's probably the main reason that you're not manifesting. The main reason you're not getting what you want. The main reason you're not getting your intention, because you're really starting off with unbelief. Once you don't believe, belief is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what you believe, you're getting. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it, and it will not come to you. So if you don't believe this stuff, then that's something you have to work through. Now, when we go into chapter 2, 3, and 4, sleep, prayer, and feeling, what Neville Goddard has done is he's weaved these 3 chapters together. He kind of talks about the same thing, but in different ways. So he's really explaining imagination, feeling the wish fulfilled, and then drifting off to sleep. Let's first kind of dive into law and its operation. Now remember, law and its operation is about the conscious and the subconscious mind. What the conscious mind feels to be true, the subconscious mind takes it as true. I want to repeat this one more time to you. What the conscious mind feels to be true, the subconscious mind takes it as true. Now remember, our conscious mind is our thinking mind. Our conscious mind is our waking mind. Our conscious mind, when we're awake, our conscious mind is in control. When we're asleep or we get tired, our subconscious mind takes over. This is what Neville Goddard means. When whatever our conscious mind feels to be true, our subconscious mind will take it as true. Our subconscious mind isn't a comedian. It doesn't know if we're joking or not. Whatever we put our attention to, true or false, positive or negative, it's just going to accept it as fact. Okay, it doesn't know you're joking. It accepts it as fact. Once it takes it as true, it must be expressed. Okay, this is the power here. Okay, this is good news, because once our subconscious mind believes it, once it takes it as true, it has to be expressed. It has to come into your visible world. It has to come into your reality. Okay, this is the greatness here, is that once we figure this stuff out, once we actually master Neville Goddard's technique, once we can actually go to sleep and the wish fulfilled, once we impress our intention, once we impress the subconscious mind with what we want, it has to come to us. Okay, that's by law. It has to come to us. And the great news is, even if we don't want it anymore, it has to come to us. Okay, we've all maybe experienced that sometime in our lives, or maybe we wanted something, then we changed our mind. But once we changed our mind, what we wanted in the past actually still came to us, because we impressed our subconscious mind. It has to come into your reality. That's the power behind this. Now Neville kind of basically warns us with our subconscious mind. He warns us with this: be careful of your moods and feelings. There is a connection between your feelings and your visible world. Now this is where it starts to kind of get deep. It starts to kind of get, you might not believe this. I might say something to you and be like, Chad, I don't know about this. What you have to understand with our conscious mind and subconscious mind is there's a connection to our conscious mind, our beliefs, and there's a direct connections to our feelings and feeling state and how we're going to manifest. There's a connection with that. Okay, it's kind of like the movie The Matrix. Or if you ever seen the movie The Matrix, if you haven't, go watch the movie. We're basically developing our reality, and we're developing our reality through our feelings and emotions that we have, and we're influencing our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is taking it as true, as a fact, and it's slowly transforming it into our visible world. Your subconscious mind, whose natural state is sleep, sees you as you believe yourself to be. And whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, the subconscious mind will faithfully embody your belief. But your subconscious mind, whose natural state is sleep, okay, remember, our subconscious mind, when we start getting sleepy and we drift off to sleep, that's when their self-conscious mind is more powerful. So whatever we go to sleep to, whatever our mood is, no matter if it's good, bad, indifferent, we go to sleep thinking, oh, I don't want to go to work tomorrow, today's Sunday night, and all you think about how you hate work. You go to sleep in that state. Well, when you wake up, your subconscious mind takes it as true, takes it as fact, what you fell asleep to, what you influence the subconscious mind with. And then when you actually start going to work, you're just getting more and more and more of what you don't like with work. You have to assume the feeling that your attention is already yours. Then it must be expressed to you. Now, when it must be expressed to you, we're talking about the subconscious mind here. But when you go to sleep at night, whatever your attention is, you have to live in the end, you have to act as if it's already yours. And if you do this properly, once you influence the subconscious mind, whatever you want, no matter whatever it is, if you want a millionaire lifestyle, you want your dream car, dream house, dream vacation, it has to come to you. It has to be expressed to you. But you have to get in that feeling. You have to get in that feeling state. Okay, this is what Neville Goddard always kind of talks about. And he kind of talks about it in a confusing way a little bit, like feeling the wish fulfilled, getting into that feeling state. It's an emotional state. Now, how would you feel if you were already a millionaire? How would you feel if your dream car is already parked in your garage? How would you feel if you're going on your dream vacation? How would you feel if you already lived in your dream house? And you produce that feeling state, that emotional state, and you try your best to drift off to sleep in that state. Now, since we're talking about your attention, your wants and desires, remember, your intention is only expressed when your subconscious mind accepts it as true. Okay, this is where, if it's not working for you, if what you want is not coming to you yet, all that means is, it doesn't mean it's not working. What it means is that you haven't influenced your subconscious mind yet. Your subconscious mind hasn't taken it as true, hasn't taken it as fact. Your conscious mind is more in control. So, or there's a little bit unbelief in you. That's why you haven't really influenced your subconscious mind. That it really comes down to that simple fact. You haven't influenced your subconscious mind yet, so your subconscious mind isn't taking it as true yet. That's why you don't see it in your life. And I'll read it one more time. Your intention is only expressed when your subconscious mind accepts it as true. Your refusal to believe this is the only reason you don't see it. This is the breaking point here. Okay, we are conscious and subconscious mind. Your refusal to believe this is the only reason you don't see it. Your refusal to believe that your conscious mind, what you think about, influences your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious mind is influenced, that's going to manifest in your life. Okay, positive or negative, what we want and what we don't want. Okay, so your refusal to believe this is the only reason. There are not 100 reasons, there's not 10 reasons, there's only one reason. The only reason your refusal to believe this is the only reason you don't see it in your reality, in your life right now, in your visible world. It just comes down to your belief. Now, let's move on to chapter 2, sleep. Now, this is where we kind of we're starting to fine tune kind of how to do Neville Goddard's technique, what's really going on. Now, when we talk about sleep, this is where you enter the subconscious mind. When we talk about sleep, in my opinion, this is the best manifesting technique. Now we have to ask ourselves, why? Why is this the best technique? Let's kind of go into some theory here. Now, when we talk about sleep equals 1/3 of our life on earth. So, I mean, it's just basic math. If an average person sleeps 8 hours a day, okay, if you divide that by 3, 24 hours a day divided by 3, that's 1/3. So sleep takes up at least 1/3 of your life. That's why when you influence your subconscious mind, what you go to sleep to is influence your subconscious mind, because that's 1/3 of your life. Okay, even if you break it down into just one day, and you slept for 8 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9, 10 hours. Well, during that time, you've influenced your subconscious mind. Whatever you fell asleep to, whatever you fell asleep thinking about is shaping your life. is influence your subconscious mind. That's why it's so powerful. Then the remaining 2/3 of your life on earth is measured by your attention we give to sleep. I'll read that one more time to you because it's really powerful. The remaining 2/3 of your life on earth, your waking hours, okay, your 2/3, I'm awake, I'm doing my routine, going to work, driving around, going to parties, doing what I do, doing my hobbies, is measured by the attention we give to sleep. Now, what that means is it's measured by the attention we give to sleep is that what are we falling asleep to? What state am I thinking about when we fall asleep? That's going to transform my world. If I'm falling asleep to negative things, well, my life is going to start, in my visible world, is going to start become more and more negative, or more negative things are going to start happening to me. What you have in your consciousness as you go to sleep is the measure of expression into the waking 2/3 of your life. That's what we've just been talking about. What you have in your consciousness as you drift off to sleep is the measure of expression into your waking 2/3 of your life. This is what you really have to come to terms with. What you really have to believe is what we think about, we actually transform, actually kind of starts to happen or occur slowly into our visible world. What we go to sleep to starts to happen slowly into our visible world. Okay, this is why a lot of us are, especially nowadays, a lot of us are in such bad habits when we develop a sleep routine. When I tell someone to develop a sleep routine, okay, I'm not talking about a great big routine. All I'm talking about, you go to bed 5 or 10 minutes before you're gonna go to sleep. How hard is that? Then as you lay there and you drift off to sleep, you start thinking about your intention. You start thinking about what you want, or you start developing an emotional state around it, and you're trying your best to fall asleep in that state. It's not going to work perfect, okay, but you're trying your best to fall asleep in that state of your intention, your want, a positive state. That's what you're trying to do. But what happens is people don't want to do it. Okay, now sometimes you live with a significant other, and sometimes they're messing up your bedtime routine. Other times you have the TV on, you're watching TV in a sleepy state, or you're watching TV as you drift off to sleep. So your subconscious mind is awake. It's listening to what you're watching. Okay, a lot of us are on our phones clear up until we go to sleep, and then the only way we put our phone down is we put our phone down. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So whatever we're watching, seeing right before we go to sleep is what we're actually producing into our lives. Why? We always have to ask this question: why? Never go to sleep feeling stressed, sad, thinking about failures, thinking about negative things, or any other unbelief. Okay, what we're trying to do is, even in the beginning, if it's hard for you to think about your intention, it's hard for you to think about millions of dollars, your dream vacation, your dream car. Okay, eventually you're shift into that. Okay, it will get easier and easier and easier. But even if you keep it basic, is don't fall asleep when you're stressed, sad. Okay, you're falling asleep, you hate work, you hate your boss at work, and then you go inside your imagination and you create this great big scene, negative scene inside your imagination, then you actually drift off to sleep. You know what I mean? You know how to do this stuff. Everybody knows how to do this stuff, but we do it in the opposite way. Okay, we don't do it in a positive way. Okay, when I say let's think about your dream vacation, and it's so hard for you to sit there and think about your dream vacation to produce a feeling around it and go to sleep. But yet, very easily, you can produce a feeling state on your boss you hate at work. Then you can go inside your imagination and you can think about it. And when you think about it, you get angry and you get mad, you get sad or anxiety or whatever feeling it causes that it kind of brings up in you. Then you go to sleep in that state. What you have to master is, in the beginning, stop going to sleep when you feel anxiety. Stop going to sleep when you think about failures or negative things, or you're sad or you're stressed. Start just thinking positive. Develop positive affirmations. So sometimes I've done this. I've produced positive affirmations, and I'm just repeating them almost like a lullaby. I kind of learned it from Joseph Murphy, where you're just repeating it over and over and over and over. And what you're trying to do is repeat it over and over and over and over and over until you go to sleep. Now, this is the key. Always feel the wish fulfilled before you drift off to sleep. That's what we've been talking about here. You always feel the wish fulfilled before you go drift off to sleep. And what that means is you feel the wish fulfilled. Okay, if you want to be a millionaire, you always feel what it would feel like, what it would be like if you're a millionaire right now. You act as if inside your imagination, and that's how you drift off to sleep. You drift off to sleep in that state. So you always feel your wish fulfilled before you drift off to sleep. That's the habit where you have to get into every time you go to sleep at night, or at any time you take a nap. You get in a habit that you're always thinking about your intention. You're always thinking about what you want. You're always thinking about your wish fulfilled. Then you try your best to drift off to sleep in that state. Now, to kind of help you out, like, how do I produce a feeling state? How do I get better at producing a feeling state? How do I get better at producing a positive emotion around what I want? This is the question I want you to ask yourself. How would I feel if my wish was realized? I'll repeat it one more time. How would I feel if my wish was realized? What that means is, how would I feel if I had $1 million in the bank right now? How would you feel if your dream car was in your garage right now? How would you feel if you're going on your dream vacation tomorrow? And you start asking yourself the right questions, that produces a feeling state. You start getting excited, you start imagining, you go inside your imagination, you start thinking about it. And once you produce that feeling state, the only trick here that's a little bit difficult is going to sleep in that state. That's the only trick. That's the only thing you got to do. Once you start getting good at this, the only thing you got to do is go to sleep in that state, which is a little bit difficult. You know, I mean, it's hard for me too. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm producing such a terrific feeling state, such a terrific emotion around it, because I'm asking myself this type of question when I'm laying there, and I don't flip and go to sleep. So I feel you on that. The trick is to try to time it perfectly where you can drift off to sleep. Now let's move on to chapter 3. Now chapter 3 is about prayer. Neville kind of talks about prayer, almost the same things he talks about sleep. So he really connects the two. There is no really separation. Okay, so kind of stay with me. Don't flip out. Don't freak out what we're going to talk about here. But Neville has kind of a unique spin on prayer. Now prayer is not so much about what you ask for. It's more about your preparedness to receive it. I'll repeat it one more time for you to let you kind of think and let it kind of go in. Prayer is not so much about what you ask for. It's more about your preparedness to receive it. You go into prayer, you ask what you want, you believe that you're going to receive it, and you actually receive it. So we've all heard you ask, believe, receive. So Neville is really connecting prayer, just like if you set an intention, you go inside your imagination, you live in the end, you act as if, you believe you already have it, and you stay in that state until you drift off to sleep. Then, once you do it right, it forms into your visible world. It's the same thing with prayer. What we gotta do is, when we go into prayer, you believe your prayer is gonna be answered, and you're ready to receive it. It's the same thing here. And also, when we talk about prayer, one of the things I love about Napoleon Hill, if you read Think and Grow Rich, I'll put a link down below for Think and Grow Rich if you haven't read it yet. But even Napoleon Hill said, the issue with prayer is that most people come to prayer as a last resort. Okay, things aren't working, they're scared, they have fear, they have unbelief, they have doubt and worry because things are not working out, and they come to prayer as a last resort. But they're going to prayer in a state of worry, in a state of fear, in a state of doubt, in a state of unbelief. That's how they're going. That's their emotion going into prayer. That's why your prayer is not answered. That's why you're not getting what you want. Because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm going in a state of unbelief. So since I don't believe I'm going to get it, well, it doesn't come to me. Okay, you have to believe. That's why it's an ask, believe, receive. Okay, so it's your state, how you're going into prayer. Now let's dive a little bit deeper. When you pray, it's about yielding to your wish, not forcing the wish. Now remember, okay, I talk a lot about force negates. Okay, anytime you try to force something, it negates, it runs from you. If you try to physical force something, it stays away. Okay, when you try to mental force something, it does the same thing, it stays away. So the more you try to force something to happen, it's gonna expel from you. It's going to stay away from you. Okay, same way with prayer. When you're trying to force prayer, you're trying to force something, you're mentally trying to coerce it, it's going to stay away from you. So when Neville says, When you pray, it's about yielding to your wish, not forcing a wish. What does Neville Goddard really mean about yielding? Okay, so let's kind of dive into that definition real quick. Yielding means giving way under pressure. It's worded a little bit weird. That's the dictionary definition. It means not hard or not rigid. It pretty much means you go with the flow. Okay, you're not forcing it. Prayer must be without effort. That's why it's so powerful when you ask, believe, receive. There's no effort involved. There's no force involved. See, the more you don't believe you're going to get your prayer answered, the more you force it, the more you look for the how. Okay, the more worry and doubt and fear you have, the more you're going to force that prayer, and the more it's going to stay away from you because you're more under that emotion of unbelief. Now think about it this way. When it says prayer must be without effort, think about it this way. Like if you really 100% believe that your prayer is going to be answered, no matter what it is, if you really 100% believe this, you're going to go into prayer, you're going to pray, you're going to let it go. There's going to be no force there, and you're just going to go on with your day because you totally believe God is going to give you what you want. Okay, you totally believe that. So if you totally believe it, it's without effort. Now, the last chapter is on feeling. Okay, now feeling, Neville is really mixing again, chapter 2 on sleep and chapter 3 on prayer. So he's kind of wrapping this all up. And then feeling, he's really going into the feeling state. The feeling of you're the one you want to be. Read it one more time. The feeling of you're the one you want to be. That's really your feeling state. You're already the person you want to be. If you want to be a millionaire, well, you're already that person right now. And the trick is going inside your imagination, producing that feeling and drifting off to sleep. Okay, whatever you want. You want your dream car? You're already that person right now with your dream car in your garage. You want your dream house? You're already that person right now that's living in your dream house. It's not about the how. Okay, it's not about when you go to sleep. This is the perfect time to bring this up. When you go to sleep at night, it's not about the how. It's not about how I became a millionaire. It's not about how I achieved my dream house. It's not about how I have my dream car. You go straight to the end. You go straight to the end of what you want. You want to be a millionaire. You're a millionaire right now. It's not about how you got there. You're a millionaire right now. Okay? You have your dream house. It's not about how you got your dream house. You have your dream house right now. You have your dream car. It's not about how you got your dream car. Okay? Stop controlling the how. You have your dream car right now. You're going on your dream vacation. It's not about how you achieved that dream vacation. It's you're going on your dream vacation right now. It's not about how you got there. You go straight to the end. You're that person right now. Assume the feeling that it is yours, that what you want, and it will be realized. Now, Neville right here is really comparing the subconscious mind in chapter 1, chapter 2 on sleep, your intention, and assuming the feeling. He's kind of connecting all of it together. And he's saying this: assume the feeling state, assume that emotional state that you already have what you want. Assume that feeling that it is yours, that what you want, and it will be realized. Okay, you assume that feeling until you impress it on your subconscious mind. Remember in chapter 1, once you impress the subconscious mind, it has to come to you. It has to come to you by law. It has to come to you by laws of the universe. It has to be yours. It has to come into your visible world. That's what Neville's talking about. It has to be realized. Neville digs a little bit deeper here. You never attract that which you want, but from which you are. You never attract that which you want, but from which you are. Now, I did a video a while back on the secret you. I think it's called the secret you, and it really goes along with this quote by Neville. Okay, the reason why we're not manifesting, we're really manifesting the secret us. That's what's really coming to us. Okay, the secret you is your secret thoughts that you have to yourself. I'll give you some kind of really straight out examples here. Let's say you want your dream car. Your dream car, maybe it's a 2024 Porsche 911 twin turbo blood orange. But since you want it, you've been going to sleep in that state. But all of a sudden you see that car all over the place. Okay, but that's your dream car. You see all over. And you go out and you see someone fly past the highway in your dream car. What do you tell yourself? In that brief second, once you see it, what do you tell yourself? What most people do is their secret you is, what does that guy do for a living? I bet he scams people for a living. I bet he robs people for a living. You know, what ends up happening, you put that person down. When you see somebody living in your dream house, what do you secretly say about them? Pretty much people do the same thing. They put that person down. They don't even know the person, but they put that person down. Well, you know, what does he do for a living? I mean, I bet he's a CEO somewhere at a job and he just treats people mean and rude. Or I bet he scams people. Or he's probably a salesman and he just tries to sell people a product that they don't need. You know, they put him down. Okay. And this comes from like a Hawaiian proverb, meaning bless that which you want. If you see someone fly down the highway in your dream car, bless that which you want. Bless that person that have your dream car. Because remember, okay, if you're making fun of somebody, if you put them down and you're making fun of rich people, you're making fun of wealthy people, you go on social media right now and you follow a big brand, and of course if it's a huge brand, of course if they're a millionaire or they're wealthy, you see all types of comments like in their thread that people making fun of them. What you make fun of can't be yours. Okay, even if you want to be rich, you can't be rich when you're making fun of rich people. Okay, you can't have your dream car when you're making fun of somebody who has your dream car. You can't have your dream house when you're putting that person down who's living in your dream house. It can't come to you. Okay, there's a conflict. You're producing conflict. That's why it's not coming to you. That's why that's why manifesting is not working. If you're kind of doing this, you need to fix it. The way to fix it is bless that which you want. Okay, bless that person with your dream car. Bless that person with your dream house. Bless that person that has your dream job. Bless them. Okay, stop tearing them down. Lift them up. Now let's kind of wrap this up. This is one takeaway that I want you to kind of ponder on, and it's this: you cannot fail unless you fail to convince yourself of the reality of your wish. Let's say that one more time. You cannot fail unless you fail to convince yourself of the reality of your wish. What does that mean? Okay, lots of times people do all these manifesting techniques. Sometimes they love Neville Goddard and it's not working. And when something don't work, they pretty much blame the technique. But it's not the technique. Okay, what Neville Goddard is saying here is you cannot fail. The only way you can fail is you didn't convince your subconscious mind that what you want is already yours. So the blame is really on you. Okay, now the blame really isn't a negative, okay? Because if you haven't convinced yourself yet of what you want is already yours, guess what? Okay, you just need to hang in there. You need to do this stuff long enough until you finally just get it, until you finally just convince yourself of your attention that you want. You convince your subconscious mind, and you live in the end, and you act as if, and you finally convince yourself that what you want is already yours. What you want, that has to come to you. Once you totally convince your subconscious mind, it has to come to you. It has to be expressed to you. It has to come into your visible world. But the only reason it's not working is because you haven't convinced yourself yet. That's the only reason. You just have to hang in there. No matter if it takes a few days, a week, a few months, 6 months, or a year, you just have to hang in there until you finally convince yourself, until you finally just corely believe this stuff works, until you finally just corely believe that what you focus on will become your reality. And I'll leave you with this, and this is good news, is you only have to influence your subconscious mind one time. And this is backed up by Neville. If you listen to a lot of Neville Goddard lectures, in his later lectures, he actually says this. You only have to convince yourself one time. You only have to influence your subconscious mind once. You only have to do it once perfectly. You only have to drift off to sleep in that perfect emotional state one time. Once you influence your subconscious mind once, it has to come to you. It has to come into your visible world. And it has to come to you even if you change your mind. Even if you don't want it anymore, you will find it will still come to you. That's the good news here. You have to do this one time. You just have to master this one time. Now, of course, hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions or comments, comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, what you're doing, what's working for you, what's not working for you. If you believe this, you don't believe this, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.